Hello, everybody. It's the Great Pasquale here, and welcome to the Great Pasquale Show. Another installment of insanity in America. So, yeah. Where do you begin? No idea. Well, let's start with the usual corona fascism. As you know, I live in Queens, and I border Long Island. I don't know what you know about the geography of Queens and Long Island, but basically in New York, and state of New York, Queens falls on the New York City side, and Long Island is outside of the city, and I'm near Nassau County. And Long Island tends to be a little more normal, a little more freedom-based, slightly. I think the further out you go out to, like, Suffolk County, people tend to be a little more patriotic, and I don't know what drives that. I could guess, but, could be demographics, could be a number of things. Let's face it, certain races vote a certain way, live a certain way, believe in certain things. But anyway, the topic at hand is always, it seems to be, where are we going as a nation? And starting with New York, since we're the epicenter and have been the epicenter of the coronavirus, it's been completely insane. And it's amazing, obviously, to me, and it should be obvious to you as well, that we have gone through this bell curve with the viruses. We are down now at a very flat, sort of linear situation where we're seeing very low volume of cases and also very low volume of deaths. Interestingly enough, though, if you did a study and extrapolated the percentage of deaths to cases right about now, the death toll, or the IFR, which is the infection fatality rate, would be astronomical, because now you have very few cases and very few deaths, but in relation to one another, it brings the percentage up. So, like, let's just say you had, 10 deaths and you had 100 cases. I mean, look at what that does to your percentage, right? Compared to when you take a tally of when you're at the peak of the mountain and you extrapolate that data, which you can't really do because you don't know how many cases there really are out there. But nevertheless, the thing that's irking me and most people with a brain is that we have very few cases and very few deaths, and we are walking around with masks on. I'm going to bring the mic away from my mouth a little bit because I'm going to distort it because I'm going to start yelling. We are walking around with these freaking masks on. The mask Nazis have gone bananas. I told you people from day one, if we don't push back now, they're going to make us wear these masks all day, every day, wherever we go. In a shower, in the bedroom, on the toilet, making love, while you're eating. Maybe we'll cut a little hole in it, push the food through, sip a straw through the damn mask. It's gone completely out of control, people. They are controlling you. And the masks do nothing. Nothing. I mean, it hurts my head just thinking about it. And I'm walking around in the streets of New York, watching all these buffoons. I mean, I've been laughing from day one with the gloves on. Now they don't wear the gloves anymore, which is... It's like, when did we decide that you can't spread viruses with surface germs or bacteria or anything of that sort? Everybody was a germaphobe for a while, and now all of a sudden they got over that. They think the mask is the be-all, end-all, so they have become even more reckless. No more washing hands. You don't see that anymore. Social distancing's out the window. It's like, oh, I got a mask on. I can stand right on top of people now. I mean, since as far back as I can remember, the best way to avoid getting sick was to not be on top of each other. And even at that, it's so hard to avoid getting a virus or getting a cold or getting any type of infection that's running around. And like I said in my last video, if it's going around, you're going to get it. Now, we've gone, I'm going to say this like a broken record till it seeps into people's minds out there. We have gone from trying to stop the spread, which you cannot do, slow the spread. Let me take that back. We've gone from trying to slow the spread to trying to stop the spread to like eradicate a virus, which is impossible. Viruses are always going to hit somebody as long as there's someone that's there to pass it to the next person. So why have we not, to this day, encouraged immune system boosting and herd immunity, and also something that many of you don't even realize, T-cell immunity? And T-cell immunity is it's a bit complex, but to explain it in layman's terms, there are all types of different T-cells. I think there's even 4 specific ones. I'll get those names and everything, explains a little better. But these are dormant cells, white blood cells in your body that basically build up an immunity as close to immunity as possible to an invader. And so what they're finding in some studies that I've read and about in Sweden, and Sweden's, I keep going to Sweden because to me, they were one of the only countries that did this right, without lockdowns and crazy limitations and paralyzing masks and plexiglass, and they didn't do any of that stuff, and they didn't destroy their economy as a result. So what they're finding out, most people don't realize that coronaviruses have been with us for ages, and they're prevalent in the common cold. So there's a reason to believe that why children are not getting the coronavirus or spreading a virulent version of it, or that the Asian population seems to not be getting it, specifically in China, where coronaviruses are more prevalent, and in common colds. Just children tend to get common colds more often and spread those. So there is reason to believe that we are building up T-cell immunity through the common cold. What do you think of that? Does it make sense? Kind of, right? It's funny how the symptoms of coronavirus do seem awfully like a common cold, which I've been saying, that this virus is similar to a flu, but in more cases than not, it's actually more similar to a very bad cold or a very good one. Because they keep saying most people are asymptomatic spread, and that's why they're all masking everybody up, because it's like a silent killer and nobody knows who's got it, who doesn't. And I keep saying that if it's asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic or whatever, and it's not getting to a point where it could kill you, clearly, or even make you very sick, maybe mildly or mediumly sick, then who cares how much we spread it? Then there's you're a carrier, you're going to bring it to grandma. I'm like, well, same thing there. If you're carrying it and you're not getting that sick, how could you spread it to somebody else in a form of it, in a virulent or a very strong viral load version of it that's going to make grandma sick and die? Now, in the rare case that you have someone that you know or someone you would come in touch with that had a very severe health condition, why are we not sheltering those people in place and keeping them away from someone that could bring a virus into their home or a nursing home, wherever they happen to be? We're not doing that. No, instead we punished everybody else. And my biggest problem with this is the paranoia and the long-term effects that's having on people's mental health. And adults and teenagers and children alike, all of us. People are afraid to interact with one another anymore. And what does it do to our children? And what they're doing with our schools is disgusting. That if not for Long Island, in the private school systems, there'd be no chance of any type of returning to normalcy whatsoever. Because they're pushing on the public schools to make all these children wear masks. How could you mask up a child? I mean, do you realize, like, for example, my wife works with special needs children, and they have severe sensitivity issues, touching things. things getting on their hands. Their mouth bothers them. A lot of them are germaphobes, my youngest son in particular. And you have social issues, speech issues. It goes on and on. You know, children on the spectrum of autism, it's difficult enough trying to teach them and work with them, and they need to be very routine. The regimen has to be very strict every day, and while trying to just teach them basic etiquette and manners and just whatever the skills they need to survive and socialize, they have to be educated because it is school. How do you teach a child under these circumstances, putting a mask on their face, social distancing, which is virtually impossible in a classroom, any type of sports and extracurricular activities and art and things like that? All these things are going to change the way they're done, if not be almost impossible to do them. So, parents, you've got to fight back. You've got to write letters. You have to stand up for your children and stop this nonsense of worrying about spreading a thing that is barely even as fatal as a cold. It has gone so far out of control. You people have lost your minds. Wake up, society. Read a damn book. Learn something about science, because I could produce you dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of scientists, medical experts. I don't care if they're microbiologists, epidemiologists, whatever gists you want to call them. Tons of great people with great reputations that go back 30, 40 years, 50 years even, from all walks of life, all putting their minds together to explain to people what's really going on, because we do not understand simple, basic things that we used to understand. Somehow we've unlearned what we knew all the time. Covering your mouth when you sneeze, germs on a surface, wash your hands, whatever, simple, basic hygiene, that's all we need. We've gone so above and beyond for the stupidest, most mild goddamn virus, flu, whatever the hell you want to call it. Cold, I call it a cold. None of this makes any sense. It never made any sense. And if you guys can't see that this has been politicized, and conveniently, Tony Fauci's now praising New York. New York did it right. What the hell? What did we do right? What did we do right? Crippled our economy? Lost jobs? You want to talk about killing grandma? The Sfashim Cuomo who let tons and tons of infected COVID-19 patients into nursing homes, murdering thousands of people? Okay, then we did it right? What did we do right? What are we doing it right now? Everybody's walking around scared out of their wits? That I have to shop in certain stores that I feel comfortable shopping in because I got the mask Nazis running. Oh, wear a mask. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to die. I mean, it's amazing. I'm looking. I wish I had like an infrared light that could show coronavirus and show everybody there's nothing here. There's nothing to be afraid of, people. And if you get it, oh no. What are you going to do? You're going to get no symptoms. And maybe spread your no symptoms to the next person who's going to get no symptoms too. Wow, that's a real bad thing to worry about now, isn't it? Well, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, to me, this is the driving force of what's dividing this country up. You are seeing a split here. You have people on one side that fight for freedom, that have courage, that understand that, well, if you believe in God or not, your call, but some people believe that God gives us everything we need to survive in this world, okay? And, we have the ability to heal, and we will heal. We've been through worse, much, much worse, but we are tearing our country apart over something so stupid that the government decides to lie to us and make up something that just makes a certain portion of the population feel a little better. And I guarantee you most people do not want to wear masks, and they're doing it because it's peer pressure, it's cyberbullying, it's social bullying, and we walk around and it's like, oh, everybody's wearing a mask now. I'm out of place. What do I do? My poor father does it too. He knows he doesn't know he's not going to get sick. But now he wears it because he doesn't want to be confronted. Most people don't like confrontation. It's a frustrating thing that I got to walk into a place and get looks. Oh, a face. I haven't seen one of those in 5 months. What do we do? There's a nose and a mouth below those eyes. That is a very strange thing, indeed. Now, I mean, it's gone to this point. And, the little humor, I think it's ruining, the poor dudes out there. I mean, not advocating whistling the girls in the streets, but, it's summertime and men love looking at beautiful women walking down the block, and now we don't even know what they look like anymore. So I feel bad for all the single dudes out there. I mean, it's a good test, I'll give you that. It's like maybe you see a beautiful girl walking down the block and it's like, hey, honey, how's it going? You look almost great. See the little face there, and you're like, oh. I had to, Gotta laugh at some of this stuff. But anyway, it's just really bad. I could get more deep into, in the next video I'm going to talk more about how we've been invaded by Marxists. We have gone from like liberalism to mild socialism to full-out socialism to Marxism to practical grazing the surface of communism. What's to stop us from turning full-out communism? I mean, the left wants to control everything. They want to rewrite history, rewrite our Constitution, change our society, destroy the moral fiber of the country. We've already destroyed the institution of marriage, the meaning of marriage, the backbone of this country. Like I said, I'm on the conservative side. I do lean libertarian at times, but the left has gone so far off the deep end that we really have a fundamental deterioration of our country going on right now, and it's all connected. Corona fascism, Black Lives Matter, the attack on schools, education, the science fiction movement, I basically call it, because now we don't even look at science anymore. The media hacks, the cyberbullies, the cancel culture. I mean, I could go on and on. It's a mission. It's a blitzkrieg, and they're hitting us from every angle. And we're losing, people. We are losing this war. I mean, the only hope I have left is when I turn on guys like Mark Levin and I listen to Daniel Horowitz or Tucker Carlson. I mean, I could go on and on. There's some great people out there that keep the faith, and they fight every day. But we are losing this fight. But we have to just stick together and keep fighting and be as relentless as the left is, because they never stop. They nag and nag like a bunch of children. Even when their case is blown up and they look like fools, they don't take no for an answer. They come right back. It's like masks don't work. We proved it over and over and over again. Okay, well, but we really want to use them. Well, it doesn't make sense. Well, it makes you feel better. But it's actually spreading more germs than preventing them. Doesn't matter. It shows compliance and unity, and it's like you cannot win with these people. There's no winning. Most of them don't know their ass from their elbow, to be honest. They're not going to study the science. They don't care. It puts an agenda. It looks nice. It feels nice. Makes somebody feel safe. Everything about the left, you have to understand something is perception. They are the perceivers of the world. Think about it. They're the thought police. They are the apology tour. Perception, perception, perception. They don't look at facts. They don't look at judgment. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about in the next video when we delve into Myers-Briggs and psychology and how it bleeds into politics. It's that whole P and J thing, if you know what I'm talking about. Because a perceiver is a little more than you think it is, just like a judger is a little more than you think it is. I'm going to explain that very deeply. Anyway, gotta run. Went 20 minutes today, but moral of the story is, people, the war is upon us, and please don't stop fighting, ever. Do it for America.